It had been raining for 7 years, thousands upon thousands of days of rain, sweet crystal falls of showers and the concussion of storms so heavy they were tidal waves coming over the islands. And this was the way of life forever on the planet Venus. Margot stood apart from them, from these children who could ever remember a time where there wasn't rain. They were all 9 years old, and if there had been a day, 7 years ago, when the sun came out for an hour and showed its face to sun the world, they could not recall. All day yesterday, they read in class about the sun, about how like a lemon it was, and how hot. This is a part of figurative language because it is a simile describing the sun being yellow. And they had written small stories or essays or poems about the sun.
I think the sun is a flower that blooms just for 1 hour.
You didn't write that.
But I did!
Margot stood alone. She was a frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rain for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes and the red from her mouth. This is an example of indirect characterization, because it is describing her trait as being frail and washed out.
What are you looking at? Speak when you're spoken to.
But she did not move, or rather, she let herself be moved by him and nothing else. This shows indirect characterization, because it is describing her trait as being introspective, because she wouldn't play games with the other children. Margot was so different from her classmates because she had only come here 5 years ago from Earth, and she remembered the sun and the way the sun was and the sky was when she was 4 years old in Ohio. But her classmates had been on Venus all their lives, and had only been 2 years old when the sun came out, and had long forgotten the color and the heat of the way it really was. But Margot remembered.
It's like a penny.
No, it's not.
It's like a fire in a stove.
You're lying. You don't remember.
But she remembered, and stood quietly apart from them all, and watched the pattering windows. There was talk about her father and mother were taking her back to Earth the next year, and the children hated her for these reasons of big and little consequence. They hated her pale, snow-white face, her waiting silence, her thinness, and her possible future. This is showing indirect characterization, because it is describing her physical appearance of someone else's view.
Back to Earth. You gave her.
Get away.
What are you waiting for?
Then, for the first time, she turned and looked at him, and what was waiting for her was in her eyes.
Well, don't wait around here.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It was all a joke, wasn't it? The whole bunch of that.
Nothing's happening, is it?
Nothing.
But this is the day the scientists said the sun would come out.
All a joke. Come on here, well, let's push her.
Ready, children?
Yes.
Are we all here?
Yes.
The sun came out. It was the color of a flaming bronze, and it was very large. The sky around it was blazing blue tile color, and the jungle burned with sunlight as the children released their spell, rushing out, yelling into the springtime. The sun on their cheeks like a warm iron. This describes figurative language because the simile is describing the warmth of the sun like the warmth of an iron. They ran for an hour and did not stop running, and then in the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. Everyone stopped. The girl standing in the open held out her hand. They came slowly to look at her open palm. In the center of it was cupped and huge, a single raindrop. She began to cry, looking at it. They glanced quietly at the sun. A few moments later, there was a boom of thunder, and like leaves before a hurricane, they tumbled upon each other and ran. The sky darkened into midnight in a flash. They unlocked the door, even more slowly, and let Margot out, thus showing the sad tone of the story.